She was sold like property on her wedding day, but the billionaire who bought her did the one thing no one expected. He set her free. I was 22. Young. Hopeful. Naive. I thought life would begin after university. Instead, my father came home one evening with a contract, not for a job, but for my future. He had sold me, not into a business deal, but into marriage. To a stranger. A man I had never met. A man I was told to call husband. There was no proposal, no romance, no choice. Just a quiet signature and a suitcase packed with everything I owned. My mother cried silently while my father looked away. I knew I had no say. I was property, transferred like an object. The wedding was cold. Lavish, yes, gold, silk, chandeliers. But I felt nothing. The man I was marrying, Daniel Stone, was a billionaire CEO. Known for his ruthless business deals, whispered about in boardrooms. I expected cruelty. I expected control. But what I got surprised me. On our wedding night, I stood by the door, stiff and silent. He didn't come close. Instead, he handed me a cup of warm tea, looked at me, and said softly, "You don't owe me anything." I didn't want to buy a wife. I wanted to protect one. I didn't understand. He walked away. That was the first night I slept in silk sheets, and didn't cry. Over the next few days, Daniel kept his distance. He didn't touch me. Didn't command me. He asked questions instead. Do you like painting? What did you study? Are you okay? For the first time in my life, a man listened. Really listened. Slowly, I began to open up. About my father's debts. About the pressure to be the perfect daughter. About how I had never been kissed, not by choice, but because I was never allowed. One day, I asked him why he agreed to marry someone like me. He paused and said, "Because I was once used too. People think wealth protects you. It doesn't. I saw your eyes in that contract, and I knew I had to say yes. Not to own you, but to free you." That day, something broke inside me. The fear. The shame. I wasn't property. Not anymore. Weeks turned into months. Daniel became my best friend. He encouraged me to apply for my master's. Supported me when I hesitated. And he never, not once, crossed a boundary I hadn't lowered myself. But love has a strange way of growing in quiet moments. In laughter over morning coffee. In shared books. In quiet walks. I fell for him. Slowly. Deeply. One rainy evening, I found him on the balcony. He looked tired. I asked him what was wrong. He said, "They called today. Your father wants more money. He thinks you're pregnant and that I'll pay to keep quiet." I froze. The audacity. But Daniel simply said, "I told him no. Because you're not his concern anymore." That night, I kissed him. Not because I was expected to, but because I wanted to. He held me like I was made of something precious. 2 years later, I stood beside him at a company gala, not as his quiet wife, but as a co-founder of the women's legal aid fund we had built together. I gave a speech about ownership, how women aren't possessions, how freedom begins with a single no. My father watched from the shadows. He tried to approach me after. I looked him straight in the eyes and said, "You lost the right to call me daughter the day you sold me." Daniel stood behind me, hand gently on my back. I wasn't a victim anymore. I was a survivor. A partner. A woman who had been sold, but who chose her own value in the end.